Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. We record these interviews so potential buyers have more information about the seller and the business to help them make a buying decision. Before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of this business. So it is an Amazon FBA and e-commerce business created in July of 2015 in the sports, entertainment, and apparel and accessories niches. The average monthly revenue for the business is $69,871 and makes an average of $18,775 per month in net profit. The assets included in the sale are an Amazon Seller Central account with 29 SKUs, supplier relationships, trademarks, and just as a disclaimer, inventory is not normally included in the list price, but further details can be provided to active buyers. So for everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 58332 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So that's a brief overview of the business for sale. Let's hear from the seller with me today. So welcome to the show, Tommy. How are you doing today?
Nick, I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and I'm looking forward to learning more about you and your business. So to start us off, Tommy, can you tell us a little about your background in building and running online businesses?
Sure. So I actually had no experience. So I started doing some YouTube searches on how to actually get a product going. Found a company in China that specialized in other outdoor sporting goods. So I contacted them. They liked the idea, came up with some prototypes. We went back and forth for a few months, finally got something we liked, and I started to sell it on eBay. And then I learned about Amazon, and then I scaled it to Amazon back in July of 2015, and it's been growing ever since. And since that time, I've added other outdoor sporting goods and other decorations for outside. And, it's just been scaling every single year from there. And now I'm at the point that I've pretty much done all that I could do.
Nice. And why are you deciding to sell the business now instead of keeping it or growing it? I know you just mentioned, I guess, at the point where you're ready to let it go.
So I started doing real estate last year, buying small houses in the South, and it's just something that is easier for me to handle. Although my Amazon business is super easy to handle, the thing that I cannot do is scale it anymore without taking on huge amounts of debt, because I've already reinvested and it just keeps scaling and scaling because I'm the only person in the business. It's at the point now that it's just too risky to keep scaling it by myself. So rather than bring a bunch of investors in or, take out more loans, I just said, let's just ride off in the sunset and take the best offer and off we go.
Yep, sounds good. I've heard that several times for the seller's journey that at some point the question is, when do I want to cash out? So yes, definitely understand. So during the time that you've built this business, what would you say you've learned that just seemed to work?
Pictures tell a million words. I don't know if that's the correct phrase, but
something like that.
If I had a product that was doing poorly, I would just find a new photographer to come in and do some magic. And I would just keep doing that until eventually it converted. And then that's when I knew, all right, this is the one. So I've had to do that with many of my products where, it just wasn't doing so good, got the right photography, and bam. And also videos. You need videos on every one of your listings. So a whole bunch of tweaking along the way. And that's the reason why this has scaled over the last 6.5 years is good videography and good photography.
Wow, that's so interesting. Usually what I will hear, and I wonder if this is the case where there are sellers who will, they'll do the product research, the keyword research to find an opportunity, and then they'll launch the product and see if it gains traction. And sometimes they'll say, this product just didn't sell well, it didn't gain traction. I wonder how many of those instances came down to product photography or the lack of product videos. That would be very interesting to know and maybe a little bit heartbreaking.
Yeah, if you got a good product and it's just not converting, your keyword, I only put a very small amount of leeway into that, I guess you would put it. Your photography and your videos, that is your selling point. Obviously, you need the keywords to get there, but if you do a good enough job with the PPC, you're going to get there no matter what. So that's where you should really be spending your money, is with the pictures and the videos.
Nice, great advice. So was there anything that you tried with this business that didn't work out so well?
Yeah, I've launched a couple products that no matter what I did, they just didn't work. And these were products that were totally new. Like I invented them and they just didn't take off. I guess an example would be, that silicone ring that you see guys wear because they don't want to like jam their finger. And if they do, because they're metal ring. I had a product that was very similar to that, but it was for females and had a lot of bling in it. And I just could not get it to take off no matter what. Luckily enough, I had a small order in the beginning, so the financial hit was very minuscule. But sometimes you think you just have the greatest idea in the world, and for whatever reason, it just does not work. So basically, you just got to keep throwing stuff against the wall, and eventually stuff will stick. Just don't put all your eggs in one basket. I would never put too much money into one product and hope that it worked. So kind of what my motto has been from day one, and that has worked.
Nice. That's super valuable to hear. So you've been working on this business for a little bit of time, a few years, and I assume you're solidified a lot of the processes here. So can you describe now the amount and the type of work that you do on this business for maintenance?
So at this point in time, everything is pretty much simplified as it could be. My products are obviously made in China. They come over by sea. Sometimes I'll send them directly to Amazon, but for the most part, I send them to a third-party warehouse, which is located in Texas, and then they will drip feed to either Amazon or to Walmart, depending on where I need the products to go. But even if Amazon is allowing me plenty of storage, I like this third-party fulfillment because for the fact they could send directly to Walmart, but because their costs for storage are a fraction of what Amazon charges, especially during Q4. Q4, Amazon's charging 10 cents per cubic foot. This company's less than 2 cents. So you're talking like an 80% savings. So they're worth their price in gold right there. And they're very responsive. They're awesome. But yeah, if the buyer wants to send directly to Amazon, they have that choice. But I kind of like this third-party fulfillment. Me and them got a good relationship. They're always on the ball. If I send them an email, they'll respond within an hour. Yeah, so that's worked well for me, is having them.
That's awesome. So if you were hypothetically to keep this business, what are some ways you'd try to grow it?
If I had unlimited capital and I had this business, obviously I found a niche that works. So I would keep building around this niche. There's a lot of sports that I have not even tapped into. There's got to be over half. Golf, tennis, baseball, softball. Those are just named hockey. I haven't even tapped into those yet. So there's tons more opportunity. It was just somebody with a bigger bankroll would be the one that would have to do that. I wish I could, but really it's the capital that would be needed to scale this. But this is totally scalable, probably fairly easily as well. Also, I'm only on Amazon FBA USA and on Walmart USA, fulfillment by Walmart. So all of the other marketplaces around the world, especially on Amazon, I have not even tapped into, let alone Shopify or any of those other avenues. I'm not even on eBay anymore. So there is a lot of growth potential here. But that was another thing, it's just the capital. I don't have enough means to send these goods to all over the world. So although it could have worked, it was just something that I just didn't have enough to look into.
Yeah. And that also might play into the risks, which is my next question. So with any opportunity comes risk. So what do you think are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
Okay, so the biggest risk is, Amazon could technically do whatever they want. However, with that said, I guarantee you there's not an account on any site that has a lower health violation risk than my account. So I've been on for 6.5 years. I have 0 IP health complaints. I have 10,000 orders in the last 60 days. I have 0 order defects. That number right there is like almost impossible to have. I have a low number of SKUs, which is, easy account management. My voice of customer CX health, that's the health of like the individual products. 90 something percent of my products are in excellent health. A couple of them are in good, but they kind of fluctuate back and forth from good to excellent. The last time a customer left a negative feedback was April 23rd of 2021. So, my account is literally the definition of flawless. That's a huge upsell for whoever's going to buy this. They have a low amount of risk, but at the end of the day, Amazon is the one that gets to decide everything. So, yeah, that's about it for that.
Yeah. And for any Amazon seller or e-commerce seller or any seller who relies on a third party, that is a risk no matter what. So,
for sure.
Yeah, good to know, though, that given that risk, that the account is in good health to mitigate the possibility. So let's see, a few housekeeping questions here towards the end of this. How much support are you willing to offer buyers?
I would be willing to take phone or email support for the remaining calendar year of 2022. So you're talking another 11 months of support, no problem, especially because my business is very dependent on Q4. I want to make sure that whoever buys this, they have every asset to help them scale this as well. I'd like to see them succeed. So they're going to have questions, I'm sure, for me around Christmas time. So I would absolutely help them out as much as I possibly could.
Nice. That's awesome. Okay. And would you commit to a non-compete?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I'm real estate from here on out.
Nice. Okay. And are you open to something like an earnout?
Yes, I would absolutely be very open to an earnout. If the right situation was to come about, absolutely.
Okay. Perfect. And putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
Because this business has been scaling since day one. And if you have enough capital, they say the sky's the limit. This is very true with this business because a lot of the products that I sell, they're not just private label products. They are products that I invented. Of the 29 SKUs, 12 of these products I invented myself. I have molds for them. I took 6+ months to get them rolled out, trial and error, finally got them correct. My packaging is phenomenal. It'll be hard pressed to find better packaging. A lot of time and effort went into that as well. But the product itself, there's not much like this on the market. So your competition's very low. So you continue to scale this, especially if you can get into some other selling streams. The sky's the limit. So there's no reason you should not be able to totally scale this business even more than I have already.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, that's great. So last question, is there anything that you'd like to add that you think I might have missed during the interview?
Looking over, I think we've pretty much hit everything. I would say, in my eyes, the most important part of my business is the fact that it's not just private label products. I didn't go on AliExpress and slap some labels on. Just the amount of time and effort and the IP that went into these products, make them very unique and very successful on Amazon. If you take all my products and you look at the overall product reviews, it's like 4.7% out of 5 stars. So the reviews are excellent and that's really about it.
Nice. Well, I agree. It seems like a very strong Amazon store. And so I think that's the perfect spot to wrap this up. So I'm going to wrap this up here. So Tommy, thank you so much for sharing your story and joining us on today's episode. And I hope your business is purchased in the near future and by the right buyer.
Amen, Nick. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. And all right, everyone, thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 58332. And if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. And once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.